So the Kanye West Yeezy sneakers story and the success of that brand via its e-commerce partnership with Adidas for the longest time, really does prove that there's a lot of selling power in celebrity. But there's some lessons here that you can take away if you are an ordinary e-commerce store or you're an ordinary e-commerce side hustler, and you're trying to make a headway for your own brand in e-commerce. And so I want to kind of give you some tips from, the Kanye West Yeezy e-commerce marketing success that was just so phenomenal and what they managed to accomplish with Adidas, at least for the period of time in which that partnership actually existed. Because as you might know, now the partnership has split up. Adidas has gone their own way, and Kanye has gone his own way, and he's actually trying to keep the brand going and kind of morphing it a little bit because he doesn't have Adidas anymore as his partners to be able to manufacture these sneakers and these shoes and these designs. And Adidas has a lot of technology, a lot of supply chain, a lot of logistics, a lot of marketing power. But Kanye has a lot of marketing power as well, and that's where you can actually learn some of this for your own e-commerce store. So let's go into Kanye West's e-commerce playbook and how he was actually able to put Yeezy on the map in a big way to where now Yeezy really compares well against like Jordan and Nike, which is just unthinkable because it used to be that Jordan and Nike were like the golden standard in sneakers, right? Like in that sports footwear market, Nike and Jordan, Air Jordan, and all the Jordan lines, that was just the thing. Like you gotta get your Jordans. um, but Kanye actually managed to come in and make some noise and put Yeezy on the map. And so let's look at the playbook. So to really understand this a little bit, you need to kind of dig into the story a bit. And Kanye actually started out making these designs, his designs for Nike. But the problem was because he is a designer, he fancied himself a designer. And I guess the guys at Nike just thought, well, here's a prominent rapper. He's being cool, he likes art, but he fancies himself a designer. He's not really a designer, he's just a rapper. What does he think he's doing? But okay, we'll manufacture a few of these and see if they sell. Kind of like almost like a hobby type thing to indulge a passionate Nike fan who is this a rapper who is a little bit wild and unpredictable at times and things like that. And then probably like maybe they get a call or something, and Kanye wants to be paid. Like what? So I don't know what their thinking was, but they just were not, apparently they just were not open to the idea of paying Kanye for these designs, and in particular for paying Kanye royalties on the shoe sales. And so what that did is eventually it forced Kanye to take his designs and say, okay, I'm out of Nike, I ain't doing nothing anymore with them. I'm gonna move over to Adidas. And I think this was actually really good for Adidas. If you dig a little bit into some of the stories coming out after the split, you have people in Kanye's camp, or some of his supporters, or at least analysts in the business space who think that Kanye's contribution to that partnership actually did a lot more for Adidas than people give him credit for, because they actually say, like, especially in North America, Kanye's influence and pushing of Yeezy actually managed to get Adidas to compete a lot better with people like Nike and other brands. Like it actually made a lot of headway for them and made a huge percentage of their sales in that market that they would never have gotten it did not been for what happened with Yeezy and Kanye West and this whole partnership. So that's kind of the background, right? So he moves to Adidas and they start manufacturing these designs. It's like a perfect match because what Adidas has is they have a lot of sportswear expertise, technology, this kind of thing. But what they're not great at is this kind of like fashionable design because they fancy themselves a sportswear company, you know, like soccer, running, this kind of thing. That's what Adidas is known for, but they are not known for being a fashion household name. So unlike Nike in that respect, but that's precisely where Kanye could help because you know he fancies himself a fashion designer, and so what he actually did, he did a lot of fashion shows, showcasing his like that's the world Kanye West lives and moves in. So this was actually really good for Adidas because now Kanye is giving them that fashion design, fashion sensibility, trending with the fashions and kind of getting them and their designs to also be ranked, you know, kind of alongside those fashion competing items. And so he actually used his brand power and the power of his celebrity to be able to go out into the market and make a big splash for Yeezy, this partnership collaboration with Adidas. So let's look at how he was actually able to get all this exposure. So part of what Kanye does, obviously, as a rapper, he's got um, tens and probably hundreds of millions of fans around the globe. So he's he's got an inbuilt audience of his own. In a way where Adidas probably couldn't have penetrated those markets in the same kind of way that he was able to do. Like he gets a lot of exposure with like, you know, urban America, with the African American community, which you know tends to be amongst some of the big buyers of these sports shoes, fashion sneakers, and kind of like this hip hop attire. A lot of that is driven in that community, and Kanye has a lot of street cred. You know, he's been a rapper for the longest time. He's connected with all the big names in rap, and so he's always in the news. He's always trending, and that's good for sales of his match. And Yeezy is a big part of that because it's kind of like the signature item of what Kanye's match and what Kanye's brand is all about. So having that huge celebrity brand tied to this product and selling it via their partnership with Adidas, that was just gonna be a really winning play. Now, a second part of this, besides this inbuilt audience, is that Kanye also would go in and do a lot of kind of like radio interviews or TV appearances, public events. Now, some of those events were like fashion shows, so actually staging actual fashion shows and having some of his merchandise, some of his designs showcased. Like he did a lot of that. But some of these were just popping up and talking with like radio interview people to a particular audience, right? Or being on TV and doing some. One of the funny stories was that Adidas would actually provide a lot of marketing money that to Kanye and his Yeezy team. And one of the funny stories was that Kanye and Kim Kardashian, his wife, would actually just make a few appearances and and they would be good for that money. In other words, like they could claim some of that marketing money for their own public appearances, which is really funny to think about. But if you look at it, it would have a huge marketing effect. Just maybe not exactly as planned, right? But you get this idea, like that's one of the stories that came out after the split. But Kanye's own appearances and the appearances of his wife certainly being A-list celebrities in a lot of society events, that was worth a lot of marketing spend, um, a lot of marketing influence, a lot of marketing power, and actually help push the product in a way where if you didn't have that celebrity push, you might not get the brand to be nearly as successful to the exact same extent. So, what does this mean for you if you're out there? You know, you're trying to push your own e-commerce match. Now, one thing you could do is you could partner up with celebrity influencers. Now, if you're kind of early on, maybe you don't make that much money that you want to work with those guys, you could target like smaller influencers. That's definitely a play. A second thing you could do is build a bigger brand around your own store. Like, don't be shy to use these social media apps like TikToks. People are going viral on TikTok. I just spoke, I think last week or something like that, about this TikToker Eric Howe, and how he's been able to use TikTok to actually power his e-commerce store. So, like, don't be shy to play around with those trends and get into those trends, because you can make a lot of headway for your e-commerce brand. Like, you can really blow up. TikTok is not the only platform. There are all these platforms that are out there. And do events. Go out there and stage some kind of event. Do a show of your own, and showcase your products, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can get more attention on your e-commerce store, and you really need to kind of look at the Kanye West Yeezy story and grab a page from that playbook. Now, I have some free resources that can help you grow sales of your own products, and the links are in the description.